start with Division 6, where we're going to start with Division 1, and then we're going to kind of go up from there. So bear with me. Our first guest, as you guys can see, we have Jeff Rosenblatt, the owner of FPF, formerly FPF player as well, too. He plays in the league. Hi, Jeff. How are you?
I'm good. By the way, when I'm on the podcast, I'm Jeff the player, not Jeff the owner.
Okay, Jeff the player. Sorry, folks. Jeff the player. So we have Jeff the player.
Yeah.
So Jeff, everyone kind of knows you, but some people don't know you. So we're gonna kind of talk about you. I have about 3 or 4 questions to kind of ask you to kind of break the ice, let everyone kind of know who Jeff the player is. So I'm just gonna start with, when did you first start playing flag football?
March was my best month last year.
Okay, so I first started playing flag, I want to say it was around 2012, maybe 2013, something like that.
Okay.
FPF is pretty much the only league that I've ever played in. And when I started on a team with a bunch of buddies. None of us had ever played flag before. We had a basketball player. I used to play tennis, so I was a tennis guy. We had a golfer on the team. We had a professional hockey player. We had guys from everywhere. And it was a really good time. We had a little bit of success at the beginning, which was fun, but it was really just with a bunch of buddies that had never played before, and we all kind of fell in love with it, and that's kind of how we started.
Okay, cool. And then you said, when did you started playing FPF in 2000 and you said 13?
I think so, yeah, something like that, around then.
Right. So 2013. You're an offensive player, right? If you had the choice, would you rather play defense? So let's just say your body type was a bit different. Would you prefer to play defense instead of playing offense?
What do you mean my body type being different?
Well,
I don't even know what you're talking about.
What I'm
I'm kidding. No, I got you. Honestly, I think now that I've played, obviously, say that again?
Sometimes you do play defense, one drive here and there, you're missing some guys. So I see you smiling out there, like if the ball never comes, you usually play deep. But I'm just always curious to know. I know a lot of, like, I talked to Kevin about it. I'm like, Kevin, would you rather? Kevin loves to play defense, you know? Like guys like Alex Pease, they love to play defense, but I never, like, you don't ask a lot of quarterbacks if they enjoy, would they rather play defense, or they're just offense type of guys. So would you?
No, it's a good question. I mean, honestly, I think it would be a lot of fun to play defense. I don't think with the divisions that I play in, obviously some of my physical limitations would be a problem. But I think, let's say in like a lower division, I think it would be super fun to try playing defense. Obviously, I played a lot of quarterback in the league, a little bit of receiver. So I kind of understand a little bit how offenses work. So I think in lower divisions, maybe I would be able to be a little bit successful, but regardless of that, I think it would be a lot of fun. So, I mean, short answer would be, obviously in the top divisions, that wouldn't make any sense. But if I were able to play in lower divisions as a receiver and defense, I think for sure I would love it. I would definitely love to try it. I think it would be fun.
Okay, cool. My next question for you is, besides flag football, what other interests or hobbies do you have?
Another good question. A lot of my interests are, outside of family stuff, meaning, I have 2 daughters. They're, probably, not probably, I was going to say probably just because of my wife, but, they're the 2 most important people in my life. So really spending time with them is, I wouldn't call it a hobby, but that's probably what I enjoy the most. But let's say in terms of, personal hobbies, a lot of it would be sports related. I love playing golf. Golf, and flag are my 2 favorite sports to play. Love playing basketball. I have a new thing now that I went on a cruise, so now I love going on cruises. That's my new favorite thing, if we can make it happen. But for me, for sure, sports has always been a huge part of my life. I'm hoping it always will be a huge part of my life. So I would just say definitely playing other sports. That would be hobbies. And collecting shoes. We have to talk about too. I have a little bit of a shoe obsession, specifically Jordans. So sports Sports and collecting shoes. Those would be my two things.
Okay, cool. My last question to you. Oh, actually, I have two more questions for you. The next one. So, if you had a game-winning moment, would you rather it be um, on a convert or a game-winning touchdown?
It's a good question. I think most people would probably say a touchdown. So I'm going to give a different answer. I'm going to go convert right now, just because I have a few plays that I like right now that are converts.
Okay.
And let's say you're down by 7 and you score a touchdown. So now you're down by 1, and let's say you score it on the last play of the game. I'm going for 2. Forget the tie. We're going for the win. I have a few plays that I like right now. So I think on a last play when you're down by 1, going for a 2-point convert, I'm going to go with that answer for right now. I think that's fun and exciting.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense. My last question for you is that, so how I look at it in flag, I say there's 5 positions. On offense, you have receiver, snapper, quarterback. On defense, you have corner and rusher, because I feel like halfback and corner are pretty much the same position. Ranking these 5 positions, starting number 1 being the most difficult, number 5 being the less difficult, where would you rank them?
Okay. I guess you have to probably put quarterback as the most difficult. Not necessarily that skill set wise it's the most difficult, but because flag football, sort of by its nature, is such an offensive minded game, and the rules of flag really are geared towards helping the offense more the defense, I'm going to put quarterback as 1. But I think very closely behind it would be cornerback, because having, let's say, a shutdown corner or just a really good defensive player that isn't the rusher, having those on defense are just so crucial. And skill set wise, I think it's extremely difficult. So I'm gonna put corner or corner halfback, call it corner, as number 2.
Okay.
Was the question most important or hardest to play?
Most important.
Okay.
Like ranking them. So you have quarterback
Right.
and
So yeah, I'm gonna say quarterback 1. I'm gonna say cornerback 2. Then I'm gonna put a tie for 3 and 4 as rusher and snapper, because I think those are 2, again, completely vital positions. Very hard to find amazing rushers. A good snapper is such an important part of an offense for most quarterbacks. So I'm going to put both of those as a tie. And then I'm not putting obviously one of them has to be the least important. Obviously receivers are unbelievably important, but I'm going to say, in the way that I think flag is right now, there are just so many good receivers that, of course, it's important, but I would put those right. I would put that one right now as last.
No, to be honest, that's a perfect answer. And like that's literally what I have. Again, you need a quarterback's hard position. Corner's a crazy position to play, be able to cover a receiver and try to guess his routes. If you have a bad snapper, your quarterback's struggling, everything's mistiming. Rusher, again, if you have a bad rusher, their quarterback's able to do whatever he wants. And the receiver, you have so many receivers, they can literally do pretty much just hooks, get open, do whatever they want. I feel like it's the easiest position out of those 5. So great answer for that. So okay, moving forward, right now you play in Division 2 men's 6v6 for a team called Hard 8. First question for you, why is your team called Hard 8?
All right. So Hard 8 is a gambling term. It comes from the dice table, if I'm being honest, because maybe I used to like throwing dice a little bit at the craps table. So yeah, Hard 8 is a pair of 4s. So 44 is what it means. Also, 8 is one of my favorite numbers. It's my daughter's birthday. It's the number that I wear. So I wanted a number with 8 in it. So we combined something I used to like to do, which is throw the dice, and my daughter and my favorite number. So that's why the team is called Hard 8. If you look at our logo, you're going to see 2 dice on it, 2 number 4s. Hopefully it's there.
Yeah, we see it.
Yeah, so that is why we called the team Hard 8s. It's my favorite number and my favorite dice number.
Okay, cool. Good to know.
Yeah.
Right now your team is 3-3. You guys in the standings, you guys are the 7th seed out of the 12 teams. You guys have 4 games left. Where do you guys see your record end? Your final regular season record.
Right. Again, I know in Div 2 only 8 out of the 12 teams make it, so it's
Yeah.
there's a real emphasis on the regular season. I mean, look, I'm hoping obviously that we win out. I'd love to finish 7-3. I really feel like we could finish 6-4. The way that
Okay.
our season has been is, we've been missing a bunch of our higher rated players for a bunch of the season, which is unfortunate due to different circumstances. But I think when our whole team is there, I feel very confident on offense, obviously, because that's really what I know, and I also think we have a very strong team on defense. So I think when everybody shows up, we have a good chance to win any of the games that we play. Even though some of these Division 2 teams are almost like Division 1 teams, it's a very strong division. But to answer your question, I want to say 7-3, but I'm gonna say 6-4. I'm gonna say we're gonna win 3 out of the last 4.
Okay. Talking about the 3 of the last 4. So your next matchup is against LeBrontage. Then you have Kempe Butte. Then you have Bruins, and then you have your buddies Silent Ticklers. So out of those 3, which game are you saying you're gonna lose out of the 4? Out of the last 4 games?
Right. Well, I'm not saying that we're gonna lose any. I'm saying we're
No,
gonna
but
win. But right.
if you have to pick one, which one would you choose?
Okay. So now my boys on the Ticklers, those are my guys, right? Those are my teammates. But I've had some decent success against them. So I'm gonna say we have a win against the Ticklers.
Okay.
The game before the Ticklers is the Bruins.
Yes.
Also had some good Rocco, right? Rocco's throwing for the Bruins.
Yes.
We also had some good games, but I think we've had some success against Rocco. So I'm gonna say we're gonna win the last 2. So now Marc-Andre Reeves, I have struggled with big time. He beats me a lot.
Okay.
But I'm also going to say we're going to take that game. So if there was a game we're going to lose, let me give it to Boubacar and his crew. I
Okay.
think LeBron, I think they have a nice squad. I'm not really so familiar with the quarterback, but I think Murphy plays a bit, right? I'm not exactly sure is
Yeah.
Murphy on that team.
Yeah. Bunch of funny
Dawson's is
guys.
Dawson on that team? Dawson Pierre?
I don't think so anymore.
Okay, maybe not. So listen, with Murphy and Boubacar, that's a tough squad. I have to look at the rest of their roster, but AB's my guy. He's unbelievable on D. Starting to figure out on offense too, and obviously Murphy's obviously one of the best players in the league. So that team could give us a little bit of trouble. So I'm gonna say if we lose one, maybe it's gonna be LeBron, but I'm still thinking we could pull out all 4 wins.
Okay. And they're kind of weird, not weird question, but who kind of it's a question. Who's the most serious player on your team? Most serious player. Serious.
Now, when you
Serious.
say serious player, do you mean serious the way I say it? Because I say the word serious player all the time. It doesn't even mean anything. When
No,
you say
no,
serious, like actually a serious guy.
a guy that kind of like, let's just say you guys are losing. He's like, yo, guys, let's lock in. Like, come on, like someone that's gonna like take control and try to get guys like locked in and like, okay, jokes are over now. Like, we have to win this game.
Right. Okay. So without a doubt, and I would almost call him my co-captain on all the teams we play on, it's got to be Paul.
Okay.
Paul is my guy. I need Paul on every team that I'm playing on. To me, depends how you like your snappers, but to me, he's one of the best snappers in the league without a doubt. I don't care what division. I'm putting him in any division. Don't be fooled by his age. Don't be fooled by anything. He's a player. But he's a guy that, when things are starting to get a little tough and we need a play or we need to lock in, I think Paul would be the guy that's the most serious guy that's gonna round the troops up and get people going.
And who's the most funniest?
Funniest guy on the team. It's a good one. Besides me, obviously, because I'm hilarious. Let's give that one to Breeze. We're gonna give that one to Breezeball. Breezeball is low-key hilarious guy with jokes. So we have some funny guys. Sanders is funny. Grappini's a funny guy too. Gab's also funny when you get to know these guys. But it'd be between maybe Breeze and Sanders off the bat, and I'm gonna give it to Breeze.
Okay. I have 3 more questions for you. The next one, what does your team have to do to clean up? But what does your team need to do to clean up or improve before playoffs start?
Okay, so I think the number one thing we need to clean up is the attendance. So
Okay.
We need people showing up. So that would be number one. Number two is then we have to clean up things a little bit on offense. I have to be a little bit better with distributing the ball, reading the plays, getting the balls into my guys' hands so that they can make plays because we got a lot of playmakers on our team. So I think the quarterback play needs to improve a bit. And then I think we need to clean up the defense a little bit. But overall, I got trust in my guys. I think we're going to make a stop when we need one. So I'll rank them those three. Attendance, number one. Quarterback play's got to be a little bit better. And then clean up the D a little bit. But those would be our top three.
And next one is what's been a personal highlight moment so far for your team this season?
For Div 2, what's been a personal one for Div 2?
Yeah.
I would say we had a great win against the Party Crashers with a pretty depleted roster. There were some crazy plays in that game, Hail Marys and onside kicks and this and that. But I think the win that we pulled off against the Party Crashers, which I think is just such an insanely talented team. I can't understand their record. It almost makes no sense to me. But that would be a personal highlight thing. The way that we pulled out that game as a team was impressive.
Yeah, you guys actually won that game 35-34.
Yeah, I think we won it on a last play Hail Mary. I think I have to go back and check, but there were some crazy plays in that game for sure.
And then my last question for you, it's pretty much you're gonna kind of help me. We're gonna go through the games that are gonna be happening this week, and it's basically games of the week. So we're gonna go down. There's 6 games. I'm basically gonna say the game, and you're gonna tell me what team you think is gonna win.
Okay.
So first week, we're going to week 10. We have Flag Slayer Corp versus Shot O'Clock. Les Verge Folie versus the Stoics. Sorry.
The Stoics, yeah. So again, that one is really roster dependent. So I don't know if Bellon is going to be back or if Dreisel's going to be back. We just played the Stoics. They didn't have their crew there, so it was a tough game for them. But assuming everyone is there, let me give that one to the Stoics.
Okay. So that's about it for Division 2. I have a few questions for you for Division 1, really fast. You don't play in Division 1, so it's kind of perfect and it's not biased because you're kind of there. So Division 1 right now, we have Party Crashers at 1, Vultures at 2, Fins Up at 3, Braves at 4, Infantry at 5, One Stop at 6, Royal Luminar at 7, and Easy Fun at 8. We have the top 2 teams that we usually have. Usually at the top, we have Braves and Infantry, are usually the 1 seed, the 2 seed. But now we have Party Crashers and Vultures. If someone told you that this was going to be the seeding back in January, how surprised would you be?
I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised with Party Crashers at 1. We made a little prediction, some of my guys, that we thought Party Crashers were going to have a breakout year in Div 1 this year.
My last question to you is if you're going to choose a team to win the championship that wasn't Braves, the Infantry, or Party Crashers, who would you choose?
Give me the Vultures. Give me a bunch of my boys from the Raw Dogs. Give me Benny, Breeze, Mancini, the rest of the crew. Kevin is a great snapper. Give me the Vultures with the upset.
All right, perfect. All right, Jeff, I just want to say thanks for coming on. So that was Jeff, guys. We kind of talked about a bit of Division 1. I'm going to kind of go more into a little details. So this following week, week 9, we had Vultures beating the Infantry 27-19. So Benny's doing a great job right now. He's kind of showing everyone that his team and he deserves to be in Division 1. You have Fins Up beating Royal Luminari 35-34. So that's a team that's kind of struggling right now. Royal Luminari is usually a team that's above 500 right now. They're struggling. They're 1-5. So hopefully Jesse and his crew can start doing some things that kind of going to improve them because playoffs is happening soon. And they're definitely going to have to be better than 1-3-1 and next couple games. Hopefully they finish maybe 4-5-1, so not above 500, but at least get some more wins on their belt. Going into the schedule week 10 for the next couple games coming up, We have ECW versus Party Crashers. So ECW is definitely looking for a win here. Party Crashers is looking to stay undefeated with their tear right now. It's a team, Jeff was kind of saying that they look dangerous now. Offense looks great. Jean C looks great in control with that team. So again, one of the heavy favorites going into Division 1 right now. You have Royal Alumni versus Infantry. Infantry is looking to bounce back versus Vultures here. So hopefully they could do that. And then you have ECW versus One Stop. I think this is going to be a great game. Two bottom end teams playing versus each other. So we're going to see who can win it there. Party Crashers versus Fins Up. Again, Fins Up is a explosive offense, not so good on defense, but we're gonna see how good Party Crashers defense is gonna be again. We're gonna see how good Party Crashers defense is gonna be against this. I would say Fins Up is a very powerhouse offense. Will Power at quarterback understands what he needs to do, and he's very good at leveling a defense. And then we have One Stop versus the Infantry. Again, One Stop has been struggling as well too. So we're going to see what they could do. And then we finish off with Vultures versus Royal Alumni for the last game of the week. So again, Royal Alumni is trying to bounce back. Vultures are trying to make themselves 5-2 and stay in that number 2 seed. Going down into standings, we have them here. Playoffs standings, everyone makes a team. So again, I've been saying this for the last couple podcasts, where just improve your play, get better, get all your converts there, get your guys legible into the 5 games. You want to make sure all your players play 5 games, so get them to show off and make sure you guys are ready for playoffs. And so, yeah, you guys are ready for playoffs, and that's pretty much it we have for Division 1 and for Division 2. So we're actually going to jump backwards. So we kind of went from Division 1 to Division 2. We're going to go to Division 6. We're going to go to Division 5A. I'm going to bring my next guest in. So this is my next guest. Hi, Amer. How are you?
I'm good, brother. How are you doing?
I'm good. So for the guys don't know Amer is actually one of my childhood friends. We grew up with each other in high school. So he just kind of started playing flag, but he's gonna be around the areas whenever you guys gonna see him a bit. We're gonna kind of get to know who Amer is. So I'm gonna ask you some questions, and you're just basically gonna tell me, you're gonna answer them.
Sure.
So my first question for you is, when did you first start playing flag?
I played flag back like in middle school, high school, but that was a long time ago. It was a huge pause in between. So it's been a long time. And even back then, it wasn't that serious. So yeah, for me, it's like almost like brand new if you don't count those days.
Okay. Sorry, give me 1 second. So so again, this is your first season for FPF.
Yeah.
Were you expecting it how it is?
Honestly, no. I was not expecting it like this. I thought like every team would be kind of like evenly like skill level, but I find every team like has different skill levels, and it's really interesting. There's a lot of different dynamics every team you play. Some teams are like really quick out the gate. Some teams like play it slow and like collect points like throughout the game. So it's really interesting playing different teams. It's a pretty big league, if you ask my opinion, and it's not what I expected. I expected it to like come into this league, dominate, just run circles around people, but I realized like it's not all like athleticism. There's a lot of skills and knowledge that goes into flag football too.
Next question for you is: do you prefer playing offense or defense?
Honestly, when I first started, I thought I want to only play offense because it's what I play in, like on Madden. It's fun, but scoring points. But you actually appreciate playing defense. Like it's really interesting reading the quarterback, reading the offense while you're on defense. And I'll be honest, this is the area where I need to improve and like study more, because I realize on offense it's easy for me to get the hang of it, but on defense, to be able to read the offense and read the quarterback, sometimes I try to cheat, and I go on like zones where I'm not supposed to be, and I get caught, I get punished for it, by the quarterback. So like, yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. So this is also your first year, right, playing flag.
Yeah.
So a lot of people don't realize that it takes a lot of experience in getting. You have to get used to certain things. You can't do what you want. Like I
Yeah.
remember like a couple guys that kind of play like, oh yeah, I'm playing free safety. Like there's no free safety in flag. Like, like some teams do play with a free safety where the guy is 20 yards
Yeah.
back. It
Yeah.
just makes the disadvantage if teams just run all hooks because it means someone's gonna be wide open. So like
Yeah.
the game is a bit different from people are like, oh yeah, we're doing cover 3, where you kind of see a Madden or cover 5 or cover
Yeah.
1. Like it's a complete different game.
It's
So
totally different. Yeah. Yeah. It's really interesting.
so besides football, besides flag football, what other hobbies or interests do you have?
I mean, I'm really into health and fitness. So like I like going to the gym regularly. I train like 5 times a day, and also health. I like eating healthy. I'm really into like I'm kind of like a scientist. I like testing stuff in my bodies. So
Okay.
like eating healthy. I tried doing like a diet where I only did no wheat. So carbs you can have, but no wheat products. So I tried that for a while. I'm taking some peptides right now, to see how I can like maximize my body's like energy efficiency, things like that, and like cognitively too. So health and fitness is one. Fantasy football, I'm a big fan, of course, and it's funny because you actually brought me into fantasy football back in the day. I think after high school,
Yeah.
but ever since then I've been hooked. Actually, this year I actually won my league's championship,
Okay.
thanks to Jonathan Taylor. But yeah, fantasy football is one other hobby that I'm into. Um, what else is there? I'm into cars and stuff like that. But for sports, basketball, football, volleyball, things like that. I'm really big on sports in general. So
Okay.
yeah,
So a lot of things.
yeah.
My next question for you is: so you're new to flag, so like you haven't really experienced everything this, but if you could experience a game-winning moment, would you rather it be an interception or scoring a touchdown?
That's a good question. I would say scoring a touchdown. I don't know why. I feel it's more satisfying to do your assignment and completing it. You feel like the gratification of actually scoring, and also you get that respect from the quarterback. That where you can catch the ball, something that's like really important. So I'm laughing because my last game, I think I dropped like 3 crucial passes, and one of them was like an open touchdown pass that I just couldn't catch. But yeah, I think scoring a touchdown is more uh, gratifying. Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. So again, you're new to the league. You're new to this league. So what's something that you like about FPF, and what's something that you dislike about FPF?
There's nothing that I dislike. No, I'm just kidding. No, actually, one thing I do love is, and I didn't expect, is the community. Like you walk in, and you see different teams, different staff members, and everyone. It's like a nice community, like you guys have, and
Yeah.
it's really everyone's really friendly, and nobody's like giving you like a stare off. Everyone's friendly, everyone's welcoming. So if you're new, they're not like closed off to you, and even if you're not playing well or if you're new to the league, it's a good opportunity to get into the community because people are really friendly in this league. Something that I find challenging and kind of confusing because I'm new, I'm not like used to it, so I'm new to this league. I would say is the ranking system or the point system where I feel like yes, some people cannot qualify or fit the cap. The
rating.
rating, yes,
Yeah.
the ratings. So like sometimes people can't fit the cap, so they're not able to play together. And I understand what they're going for. It makes sense. You don't want to have one team overpowering the whole league, but at the same time, you're in situations where you're playing 5 versus 6 because you can't fit the cap, or or someone's injured. He might have a super high rating, but he's injured. But the cap or the rating does not quantify that, right? So it doesn't really translate. But other than that, everything's pretty nice. It's pretty smoothly run.
So you're not the first person to kind of you're not the first person that complained about cap issues. It's something that's kind of hard to do. Again, like something that I dislike, and I work for the league where the cap doesn't count.
Take consideration,
Consideration your age. So you can be getting older and not getting completely worse, but not better, and you're still at that same rating.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
when you want to play with older friends, so let's say you're like right now, again, we're in our 30s. When you want to play versus old, like let's say we want to make a team when we're 35, it's still an issue where I could still be at a high rating where we can't play at a level where we should be playing because it's my issue that I'm higher. Or we can
That's
have maybe 2 or 3 guys that are high level. We want to go down, but it's to the point where okay, well you guys are all this, so that
yeah,
it becomes an issue. So I completely understand where you're coming from. And
yeah.
my last question for you is it's kind of off.
Before you say, am I allowed sharing my screen?
Are you allowed sharing your screen? What
Yeah.
do you want to?
Okay. Yeah. After your last question, I had like a quick activity, fun thing for Mr. Quaysie Maule over here. I don't know if he was up for it or not, but yeah.
Sure, I'm sure he's done for activity. Okay,
Okay.
so my last question for you before we kind of get into our Division 5 topics and stuff like that. So there's 5 positions in flag. On
Yeah.
offense, there's receiver, snapper, and quarterback. And on defense, there's corner and rusher. Because corner, halfback is pretty much the same
Yeah.
position, and then rusher has their own category.
Yeah.
So if you had to rank these 5 positions, 1 being the hardest, 5 being the easiest, where would you rank these 5?
That's a good question. I would put quarterback as number 1.
Okay.
Some people don't agree. Some people say no, it's for sure safeties or corners. Sorry, but I would say number 1 is for sure quarterback because you not only have to know your own position, you have to know everyone else's position. Second, I would put corners or slash safeties. I find that safeties or corners, if you guys make mistakes, it can be like detrimental to the whole like uh, game. You know, you can cause people points, and you need to be able to not only read the quarterback, not get tricked by the quarterback, and also make sure you're doing your assignment on the guy that's on you. Um, then I would say, what was there's corners. What else?
So right now you have quarterback, corner. The next 3 are snapper,
Yeah,
rusher,
yeah,
and
and
receiver.
receivers. Yeah. Next, I would say rusher because there is a lot of pressure on you too. If you mess up, then like quarterbacks have like all day to like throw the ball or like advance. Then I would say snapper, and then last receiver, which is crazy. I don't want to put receiver last, but in this category, yes, for sure, I would say receiver would be the easiest.
I know you're absolutely right. I feel like receiver is probably the easiest thing. Rusher, if you have a bad rusher, as you know, it could cause a lot of plays for offense. The team that you play on defense, it makes it struggles. Again, quarterback, if you have a bad quarterback, it's hard. Defense, corners, halfbacks have a big job. So no, I agree with your rankings.
You being quarterback this year, what would you rank versus the corner or quarterback?
No, I'd do the same thing. I would go quarterback's the hardest, corner number 2. Between snapper and rusher, I feel like it's around the same thing because again, if you have a bad snapper, it becomes an issue, and if you have a bad rusher, it becomes an issue on defense. So I think those 2 are kind of around the same thing. And then receiver, I feel like it's easy to catch a ball and kind of just run up the field. I don't think it's
Yeah,
as difficult that way, right? And like it's your own route compared to like a corner where you have to like cover a receiver
yeah,
and like you kind of have to guess what he's doing and make sure you're doing a right job. Where a receiver, I could run across the field and no one could kind of realize me, and my quarterback could just launch it, and I could be by myself and just touch and score a touchdown. But there's no skill involved, you
it's,
know. Or I could catch.
it's easier said than done.
No, I'm just saying, like you get them, you get more opportunities in that way compared to like on defense. If you decide to be a defender and you blown a coverage because you're not going deep, and that
Exactly.
person goes on top of you and quarterback throws, like it's
Yeah,
a touchdown. Like
yeah,
there's no, or you have more opportunities to get Moss. You
yeah.
know, like
Let's not talk about that because I got Moss last week and it was really humiliating. I didn't know someone can grab a ball from behind you midair. That's what happened to me.
okay, you're learning. You know, you're new to this league. You're learning, and
Yeah,
it happens. It happens to the best of us.
yeah.
Okay, so I'll go. I'll let you share your screen to see what you wanted to do.
Okay, how do I do this? I see computer. Share screen here with others. Okay. Let's see. Google Chrome.
He knows.
Okay, that's good. Let's see if it works. Where is it? Share. Is it working? Yeah. Wait. Yeah. Let me try again.
I see your screen.
I know, but it's the wrong. It's the wrong way. Don't do it yet. Don't do it. It's the wrong tab. Can you see this? So let me see. I'll go here again. Oh, here. That's why. My first board. Share. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, Mr. Quaysie, I just have here in front of me a random two safety defense, and you see the offense on the line.
Okay.
So, I want you to tell me from left to right, how would you go about this defense? How would you read it, and what would you like to do? Like, what kind of plays would you like to go with?
So the guys on defense,
Yeah,
are they moving or is that where they're staying?
that's where they're staying in zone.
They're staying in zone.
Yeah.
Okay. So what I would do here is I would start with my X. My X is going on a go. He's getting out the picture. He's gone. I'm assuming so I would guess it's a corner. I assume the corner would probably sit and give it to the free safety because he has help over the top.
Yeah.
So there you go. So the X is taking away the SS, this corner or the halfback, depending how you look at it. My Y is doing a out.
Okay.
My Y is doing an out, and he's trying to get the attention of the corner. So he's doing an out. Yeah. Then my center is letting the rusher pass before him, and then he's also doing it out.
Okay.
So he's letting the rush pass him, and when the rush passes him, he's going to the out. Yeah. My A is doing a 10-yard in.
Okay.
So he's fighting the middle of the field. Most likely, if for some reason the linebacker, so the guy that's playing the 3, comes down to my center, it means number 8 should be wide open in the middle. And then my Z is going straight through. For some reason, if the free safety, so the number guy in 4 comes down on him, I'm gonna just launch it up to the number Z.
Okay.
So it's good. My first read, to be honest with you, my first read is going towards my Y. Yeah. The first thing I'm looking at is my Y. If the C comes onto him, I look at my center. If for some reason the number 3, the linebacker, comes on the number C, I'm looking at my 10 and in. If for some reason I see the safety on the right side, number 4, creep down, I'm launching it as far as I can to number Z. Yeah,
interesting. That's good. That's a good take on it. Since I'm new, I want to give my opinion, and you let me know if it's good or not. Okay. Sound good?
Yeah.
So I remember learning this back in the day. Where's my pen? So I was thinking, what is your opinion on setting up like a triangle? So maybe something like the Y does a corner. Oops, sorry, that's a weird corner.
That's fine.
The X does kind of like a snag. It's kind of like a 5 in, but it's like a curved.
Okay.
And then your center, he does like a tight drag. I don't know how you call this.
Yeah, drag underneath. Okay.
Yeah. And then on this side, you just have hooks. Your favorite thing. So first read, you see if you got free hooks over here, it's good. But if
what's your first read? Like, who's the first person you're looking at?
My first read would be the hooks.
Okay.
So it's easy money. If it's not there, it's not there. Then I would see my developing play, right? So if this guy jumps to him, you pass to him. If this guy drops back, you pass to either. So it's kind of like playing tic-tac-toe, like a triangle, right? So I see this triangle here. So I was thinking, do you think this kind of play would work in the real life scenario?
It depends on your Y. So if your Y, your X.
Mhm.
If your X is able to read a coverage,
Yeah.
sure. But for some reason, let's just say the linebacker and the C. So if
Yeah.
those two guys, so an example for flag, that would be the 3 and the 5
Yeah.
and defensive position. If they
Yeah.
just sit there, they
Yeah.
get both of the hooks, and
Mhm.
the Y ends up running into the 3. So he
Yeah.
basically covers. He's able to cover two guys in one.
Yeah.
If for some reason he's able to sit, you see where the arrow is right there. If he
Yeah.
could sit in that zone, then
Mhm.
it's perfect.
That's
But
perfect.
if
Yeah.
he doesn't sit and he keeps going, he
Yeah.
gets you have one defender covering two guys.
Yeah.
And then for the center that's going out, he gets covered and the corner gets covered no matter what from the free safety or from the safety on the top.
Yeah.
So it really depends on your X doing his job under it really depends on your X doing his job sitting in his zone.
Yeah.
A lot of times, especially in our divisions, in Division 5, guys don't sit there. They keep going. If you have depends what kind of receiver you have, but if you have a guy that's kind of obedient and he's going to run your route, he's going to run right into the zone.
Right into the zone. Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. But
If
see, like I drift, see, because I'm like Madden, right? So I would keep walking and I would go into the zone of this and create a problem, right? So
Yeah.
so the
So if you
experience
sit
receivers
there,
sit in the
if you see the guys there, you don't want to run into him, especially if you have a receiver that's kind of just sitting there. You want to
yeah,
just stay. And if
yeah,
you stay there, it means your quarterback has a wide open receiver and you're good to go.
yeah.
So
That's
really,
interesting.
it depends on that. But it all depends again how developed and your receivers are, because some
Yeah,
receivers understand certain concepts and some receivers don't understand certain concepts.
yeah. What
But
would you do in a situation like this where you only have one safety who or one guy dropping back?
I would just go levels. You want to go 3 versus 2. It's
Okay.
very simple. So because there's two guys on one side, two guys on the other side, you want to send 3. So again, you could do like a 10-yard hook, 10-yard hook, and then
Yeah.
a drag underneath. And you could do the same thing other side. 10-yard hook, 10-yard hook, drag underneath. You always want it whenever you know that there's defenders playing on whenever you know that there's two defenders playing on one side, you
Yeah.
want to send 3 guys on the other side because two guys can't cover 3.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
you always want to level. That's what I try to do with our team. I always try to level, but sometimes it doesn't work as much because
Yeah.
some receivers are not running the depth that you want to run it to. And it comes to a point where one defender sometimes can cover two guys, and when one defender when one defender could cover two guys, then it
Yeah.
becomes a 1-on-1, and then the play gets kind of all messed up.
Yeah. What do you think of this? I was just right before I came on, I was just thinking what I would do here. What if everyone runs a go? Okay. It's kind of funky because I don't know if this would work. So it's a good thing to ask you. And then this guy runs a drag. What do you think the defense is going to do here?
Well, it depends. Depends if and to be honest, like, you probably hit one of the goals because you have 4 verts, and
True.
usually maybe one of them are going to look at the drag and they're going to come down. So it all
Yeah.
depends. It depends. You're probably going to have to read one of the guys. You're probably going to try to hit more the wide out to the right side or
Yeah.
the wide out or the left slot inside, depending which one they're in. Because usually, if they all sit there, it becomes a 4-on-1. But if
Yeah.
one of them bails, it becomes 2-on-4, and then 3-on-4, and then 4-on-4. But then they have a situation where if the 3 guys in the inside go back, then the guy on the far left has to run across for number X. So it's
Yeah.
really depending on how they're going to play it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I like the way you approached it. But
Okay. All right.
yeah.
So Division 5. Let's get into questions in Division 5.
Sure.
You're new to Division 5. I'm just going to open it up so you kind of can see what's going on over here.
I'm new to the whole league. Even like team names and stuff, they're all like new to me, right? So
yeah, I know, Dory. I'm gonna help you out here. So this is your first season playing FPF, and you're currently playing in Division 5 with Victoria's Secret. Are things turning out how you expected with the record that we have at 2-4?
no, absolutely not. I thought things would go better, Mainly because also like I'm lacking experience, right? So like I'm not as good as I thought I would be, But I feel like every game I'm getting better. But what's our record? 2-3.
2-4.
2-4. It's still not over. I think Brady on his first year where he won a Super Bowl, his record was 2-4 before he went on and started winning the whole thing, right? So it's not over. There's still a chance, right? And I'm glad we won our last game because if we didn't, it would have been pretty bad.
Yeah, it would have been a problem.
Yeah.
Okay, next question. So there's 22 teams in our division.
Yeah.
Okay, 14 make the cut. So 14 makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
Do you think we're gonna be one of those 14 teams?
Absolutely. 14, top 14 for sure. Absolutely. Top 10 it might be tough, but top 14, absolutely. If you had a badge for most improved team, it would probably go to us. Trust me.
Okay, I like the confidence. So so I'm gonna pull up our schedule, the teams that we kind of played against.
Sure.
Out of the teams that we played against in our division, who do you think has been the hardest matchup so far?
In my opinion, it would probably be Saint Jean. I forgot the name of the team.
Deja Veni alumni.
Yeah, I find they were our hardest matchup. They had size on us, so they were most of them were all taller, not necessarily quicker, but they were most like bigger guys. And I find they were beating us on offense and defense. Granted, at the end of the game, I realized we should have been playing man because they were just throwing long bombs to the touchdown and they were scoring a lot on us. But it's because they kept beating our zones. But I find they were the most challenging for our team.
Yeah, right now they're 6-1 right now.
They're 6-1. Okay, it makes sense.
They're 6-1, so they're kind of, I believe, if you look at the standings, they're right now in the third seed at 6-1, so they're pretty much leading the pack. Yeah, they're right now they're 6-1, so they're pretty much leading the pack right now.
Okay.
My next question to you is, what's been your personal highlight moment so far this season?
Personal, positive or negative? Because I have both.
Both, yeah, both is good.
Well, I have a crazy FPF story, but it happened on my first game ever playing in Brossard. I remember, I think it was like a couple plays in. We're all vibing, we're all having fun, smiling, laughing, playing, and then one of my closest friend, all of us, said, and I see him run and then fall like normally, and then he grabs his knee and he starts yelling. I'm like, what happened? And he popped his knee, like his kneecap popped up, and I was like, oh my god, that was one of the craziest situations that I've experienced in sports. I was, and I
That's like the first time you see someone's knee like pop out like that.
Yeah, in person. I see it on NFL all the time, but seeing it in person and seeing the poor guy in agony, I'll be honest though, he was a trooper. Like he took it like a man. He was just talking. He was making jokes while his knee was popped out. Yeah. But yeah, he's a strong dude. He's coming back better and quicker and stronger. And real respect to the teammate. Hopefully he recovers soon. My best moment would probably be one of my first touchdowns I caught. It's a getting your first touchdown in a league. It's a not a feeling that you can recreate a lot. So it's pretty satisfying, Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So last question, and then we're gonna go kind of games of the week where we're gonna go down the schedule. We're gonna choose who's gonna win, who's gonna lose.
Yeah.
What does your team need to do what does your team need to clean up or improve before playoffs?
We need a new quarterback. That's what we need. I'm kidding. It's funny because I think we need to just do our assignments better. Sometimes I feel like we're all trying to do so much where every teammate is just trying to do a little more than they were supposed to, right? So instead of running their routes, they'll be like, "Oh, there's an open spot. Let me just screw my route and just do this one," So just doing your assignment, I think our team can really improve. Being smarter on defense, Same, it comes down to the same thing. Doing your assignment on defense is really important. If you're supposed to cover the flat, you cover the flat. You don't just league back just because you see the quarterback looking behind you. I got caught up for a couple of times because of that. I've seen the quarterback look at like the wideouts or look like he's about to throw, and I drop back when I'm supposed to cover the flat, and then I get punished for it. So doing your assignments, I think we need to improve on. Yeah.
And the last thing, we're gonna do games of the week. So I know you don't know every team exactly, but again, you know some of the teams we did play against. So we're just gonna go games of the week. The ones that you're not sure, again, I'm gonna also do it with you.
Yeah.
So the first game that we have for games of the week is Voodoo. So we
Yeah.
played Voodoo week 1. That was the first team we played against this year versus Ice Up. We did
Yeah.
not play Ice Up this year. Ice Up right now is currently sitting at 4-1, and Voodoo's at 4-2. So
Okay.
I'll let you kind of decide who you want, and then I'll also pick.
I haven't seen ISA play, but Voodoo were a good team, but I find they were a beatable team. Like it was like a lot of our first time playing, and I think did we beat them? I don't remember.
We lost. We lost 20-12.
Yeah, we lost to them, but I remember they seem beatable. I think ISA has that one.
Okay, Ice Up. Okay, yeah, I agree too. You have Pigeons versus No Punt Intended. Okay, both of these teams right now, Pigeons sit at 1-5. No Punt Intended is 2-4 and 1. So 1-5 versus 2-4-1.
Who were the quarterbacks? And no pun intended.
We did not play versus No Pun Intended, but I could kind of give you their. You know what I'll do? I could give you the points for and points against to kind of play. So No Point Intended so far has scored 154 points and they allowed 208. Pigeons scored 115 and they allowed 158.
Interesting. So
So
Pigeons have a better defense.
So they have Pigeons have a better defense and No Pun Intended has a better offense.
Interesting. I think Pigeons can take it. If you can hold the opponent's offense, you can for sure clutch a win.
Okay. Then you have now our next game. You have Speed Academy Junior versus Spartans. Spartans is a team that we just played against yesterday, where we ended up winning in overtime. And Speed Academy Junior is currently 5-0.
Oh, I see. I mean, they're gonna have fun playing against the Spartans because they are a great team. But I think Speed Academy Junior for sure will get that win. 5-0.
Then you have Pigeons versus Perfect Timing. Perfect Timing is 4-2-1, scoring 186, allowing 132. And to go back with Pigeons, Pigeons is 1-5, scoring 115 and allowing 158. So Perfect Timing is beating them in both of these categories.
I would say Pigeons for this one too. I think Pigeons have a good matchup going forward. They have a good chances.
And then we have Ice Up versus TD Brothers. So TD Brothers are right now. TD Brothers are 2-4. They have 127 points for, 151 against, and Ice Up is at 136 and 89. So Ice Up has a very good defense and above average offense. And then TD Brothers have pretty much they're in between 127, 151.
This one can go either way. I'm not sure. This could be a good matchup.
Okay, so I'll pick for us. I'll go Ice Up for this one. Then you have New Kids versus Unsportsmanlike Conduct. New Kids is 2-5. Unsport Misconduct is 1-5. They've scored only 67 points this season, allowed 159. New Kids has scored 187, so on the higher side, but have allowed 249. So again, New Kids they have a very bad defense, but they're scoring points on offense. And Unsportsmanlike Conduct have a really bad offense, but not allowing that many points on defense. They're pretty much, I would say, a bit above average.
Yeah. I think this could be a close game too. I think it'll be a high scoring game, and I think the New Kids can clutch it.
Okay. And the last two games is our game, so I'm not going to get to that because it's kind of biased.
That's the only one I have to answer, but okay.
Okay, so kind of going into our division. So I'm not sure if you see my screen right now. So we kind of could see the top 14 teams that are right now qualify,
Yeah.
and they're the teams that are not the unqualified. So again, as the viewers kind of could see, top 14 teams make it, and bottom 15, the top 14 teams make it, and then the bottom don't make it. So right now we're literally at the bottom. We're in the 15 seed, looking in to try to get into playoffs. We have two teams that are undefeated right now.
Yeah.
Just by this is just a yes or no question. Do you think the Thunder Buddies, they're 7-0, do you think they could go 10-0? I'm gonna give you their last 3 games who they're gonna play against, and you're gonna let me know. We played one of these teams, so you kind of get a little. You could kind of read off of that. They play a team called Perfect Timing, which again we kind of just talked about them. They play a team called Voodoo, and they play a team called Deep Balls. So Deep Balls is 3-4-1, Voodoo 4-2, and Perfect Timing is 4-2-1. Thunder Buddies are 7-0. Do you think they get a perfect season and they finish the season 10-0?
I don't think so. I think it's unlikely. Yeah, because the other teams you listed, I watched them play. They're good teams too, so it's going to be tough for them.
Okay.
But I don't think they can go 10-0. Yeah.
Okay. And the last question for you, before I can let you go. So we asked the same question for you. You have Speed Academy Junior, a young team, a young group of guys. Great quarterback. They're a solid roster. That's the reason why they're 5-0. Their quarterback is a runner, so he likes to run the ball. He's great on defense. If you're looking at his stats,
they're good.
His stats, yeah, exactly. So, do you think this could be a team to go undefeated? They have 5 games left. They play versus the Spartans, the team that we played against. They play Not Fast, Just Furious. That's a bottomless team.
Yeah.
They play us, so again, kind of biased a bit under that. They play TD Bredas, and then they play Unsport Misconduct. The good thing that's going for this team is that 4 out of the 5 teams that they're playing, is TD Bredas or actually TD Bredas? Yeah, no, sorry. 5. The last 5 teams that they're playing are above 500, so they don't have positive records.
Yeah. So that's funny. I don't want to jinx anything, but if you were to ask me, I would say yes, they have a better chance of going undefeated because their matchup looks better, and
it does. I completely agree with you on that.
Yeah. That's gonna be
yeah. So last question I have for you before I'll let you leave. So you've played in Division 5A, and you also played in Division 6B.
Yeah.
So you subbed for a couple games in Division 6B. Do you feel there's a difference between Division 6B and Division 5A?
Absolutely.
Do you think there's
I do, yeah. Some people might not agree, but I see the difference in, I would say, skill level. This is where I guess the ratings make sense. But in skill level, I do see a little bit more in our division, yeah. How about you? Do you think there's a difference? Because you also played at elite level, right?
I played in both divisions to kind of help out our kids and stuff, the kids that we coach of his division. But no, I feel like there's a big difference. Like I feel like Division 6 games are games where you kind of could win. Like even though there's always a chance. I feel like in Division 5, if you have a bad game, it's very hard to come back because the talent is kind of too good. And like Division 6, there's more mistakes and more ways you kind of could bounce off of and actually take advantage compared to Division 5, where if you're down by 18, like I don't see you winning. And Division 6, I feel like if you're down by 18, I think there's still a chance for you to win.
I'll be honest with you, from a perspective of someone who's starting new, I find Division 5 pretty competitive. You might laugh at that because you played in Division 1 and 2, but I find that I was seeing grown men run past me. I'm like, this is crazy. Or people with who look out of shape, but they're so athletic, So in my opinion, Division 5 is pretty competitive. That's
the funniest thing is that. So let's just pretend we go back 15, not 15. Let's go back 10 years or 12 years, 13 years, right? When we were kind of 18, 19. So if we went into this league, right? And let's say we had a bunch of our friends, a lot of our friends went to CJA, played, university, played CFL, played out of seas. Like we had a decent group of guys that played the next level.
Yeah.
We would go into the bet. We would think we were able to go to the best division, and we would get literally destroyed. Because I've seen before where I came in this league, and I played in the higher division before going to the lower because that's where I started,
Yeah.
and it's a complete different game.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, even people now at 25, 24, you have kids 21, 22, they go play Division 1 or Division 2, or they try to sign up for Division 3,
Yeah.
and they go 0-10, and it's a reality check, and it's like, hey, like we can't compete in this division. We kind of have to go in Division 4 or Division 5 and then get better and start slowly going down.
Yeah.
So again, like we've had teams where like, oh no, we don't want to go Division 5. It's gonna be too easy for us. They
Mhm.
go Division 4 and they finish 0-10.
Yeah.
And they're just like, okay, it's way more competitive than we thought. Or then teams are kind of also forced to go in Division 5,
Yeah.
where it's to the point where we force you to go Division 5 because you think, and then you don't want to go Division 5 because you think you're gonna be so much better, and then you end up finishing 5-5.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, it's a lot of reality checks for a lot of teams and
Yeah.
a lot of players, like realizing, okay, this league is not a joke, and there's actually really good teams. And it's
Yeah.
to the point where we have 22 teams in our division, but in total there's 66 teams.
Yeah.
So we kind of split them in 3, but we could have had literally 66 teams in one division, which would have been insane.
Yeah.
It would have been some March Madness tournament type of thing, but
Yeah. That's true.
it just kind of goes to show. But anyways, I just want to say thank you for joining me.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks
It
for
was a
having me.
pleasure. No problem. It's kind of nice to see a new face to come on the podcast. Also, a new player to kind of show his experience and kind of like a lot, because you'll be surprised. There's a lot of guys that come in this division. They're like, it's a reality check, and they don't really know what FlagPlus is about. So
Yeah.
it's nice to kind of get your opinion and see what you see and how you're experiencing things. So
Mhm. Absolutely.
I appreciate you for coming on.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, so that's Amer, guys, and yeah, so thanks. Bye. All right, so that was Amer. Again, he's a teammate of mine in Victoria's Secret. To kind of just go down, we kind of talked about Division 5A. So again, we're gonna go backwards, forwards. It's gonna be kind of a bit over the place. Now we're gonna go to Division 6B, and I'm gonna slowly go down. So we're starting with we're gonna go back to Division 6B. Over here, I'm just gonna open it up. It's opening. Is it the same screen I'm showing? I think no, it's not. Is it my screen? No, I'm not sharing that screen. Okay, 1 second. Let me. No, it's different. I showed a different screen. Sorry about that, guys. I was sharing a different screen. I was looking at a different screen. Okay, so I'm gonna go Division 6B. We're gonna go through the rest of these divisions. Unfortunately, I don't have any more guests to kind of talk about divisions, so you guys are stuck with me for a bit. I'm going to try to make it a bit interesting, kind of go through it. For the power rankings, it's only going to come out next week where Brent's going to be here. So we kind of talk about that. We have a few weeks too to kind of let the power rankings sit. A lot of teams kind of go up, kind of go down. So week 9, we only had 2 games. We had Goblins that ended up losing to Delicious and Delicious 34-24. And then Delicious had a kind of a back-to-back where they played on Saturday, and they play on Sunday where they won 33-6 versus the Ballers. So we have 3 games playing tonight. We have Mobile versus the Stables. We have 2 Box versus the Studio J Jokers, and then you have tonight. And then the last game of the night, you have Ballers versus Fantasy Stars. So those are the 3 games that are going to be happening tonight. Regarding the standings, kind of nothing really changed. You have the Mighty Ducks still 6-0. You have Delicious at 6-1. Pookie Bears 6-1. Shakira's at 5-0. One of the 2 5-0-1. So we only have one team that's undefeated. That's the Mighty Schmucks that are left, and then you kind of have the teams, the lower teams that are kind of going down. If you're looking at the playoff standing, there is 3 teams that don't make the playoffs. So everything is still kind of open. There's still a lot of opportunity for a lot of teams. Again, we're in week 10, but there's 15 weeks. So a lot of teams have about 4 to 4 to 6 games left. There's still a lot of football left to be played. Again, the Stables is a team. They only played 4 games this season, right? So they definitely could climb up. They're in the 5th seed right now. They definitely climb up on they definitely can climb up to the 1st seed pretty easy with the games they have left. So a lot of football left to be played. Looking at the playoff breakdown, 1 to 4 teams get buys. So the top 4 teams get buys. And then we have the divisional round, and then quarterfinals, and then semifinals, and then finals, of course. Last thing to kind of talk about this division is games of the week that's going to be playing this week. So we kind of talked about week 9. There's 3 games left. And then if you're looking at week 10, we do have 6 games in week 10. We have Shakira's versus the Studio Jokers, Toolbox versus Whole Patrol, Stables versus Volition Delicious, Toolbox versus Goodfellas, the Stables versus the Mighty Schmucks, and Triple A versus Shakira's. My game of the week is going to be the Stables versus the Mighty Schmucks. 6-0 versus I think Stables are 3-1. So again, we have 2 teams that are pretty much positive in their ranking, their rating. So I think it's gonna be a good matchup. We're gonna see if the Mighty Schmucks are able to stay undefeated in their categories. And then the Stables also play Volition Delicious on the Saturday. So Saturday they play Volition Delicious, and on Sunday they play the Mighty Schmucks. So they play 2 of the top teams in the division. So if they're able to bump out these 2 teams, they definitely will be the favorite team to win. But if they lose versus both of these teams, it's gonna kind of say like, are the Stables the real thing, or are they fake contenders? So it's gonna be interesting to see, and that's gonna be for week 10. Going into Division A, so we're going to go Division 8 now. Again, we're just going to go to the schedule. So bear with me. It's going to open up. So a lot of things actually happen in Division A. There's a couple losses that we actually got to see this week. And first thing that sticks out to me right away is the fact that Vice City loses versus TGS. So Vice City was a team that's pretty much was the higher seed. I believe before this game they were, I want to say 6-1. I believe they only lost 1 game. So this is gonna be their 2nd loss of the season. To be honest with you, it's not a bad thing. It's not bad when you're losing kind of games early on, and it's to basically kind of tell you that you guys are not untouchable and you guys could lose a game. So that's a loss for them. Another game that kind of speaks out for me, that sophomore XL exchange students won their game versus Best Worst Zusk. So that's a game where we had again we have Keon Suris playing at quarterback. So he was kind of struggling a bit this season. He's not playing the best, but he got a much needed win versus Best Worst Zusk. Again, they're a team that's also struggling. I want to say they haven't won a game this season. I'm just looking at the standings here. Yeah, so they're 0-6. So again, 0-6, 0-8 doesn't really matter. Sophomore Excel is more than happy to get that win. It's definitely going to help them during the season. Then the last game I kind of want to talk about, looking at it in week 9, is Gamblers beating TGS. So Gamblers beat TGS, which is an upset because Gamblers again is a team that's also are struggling because they haven't won this. That was their first win of the season, so they got a huge win, beating TGS, and then TGS coming out of nowhere beating Vice City, which is probably one of the top 3 teams in the division. So a lot of things are kind of going right now. You have Vengeance also too coming nice and slowly, winning 37-6 versus Best Worst Zesk. So again, that's a good win for Vengeance. They're a team that's been struggling for the last 2 seasons, I want to say, or last season. I want to say 2 seasons or last season. Sometimes I get confused on how many seasons teams played. I know they played at least 1 season. I want to say this is their 2nd season, but they're slowly making a little push right now. They're looking at their ranking. They're 3-2-1, so way better than the previous season they had. They also switched their quarterback as well too. So usually at quarterback they have, just looking at the roster. 1 second, let me make it pop up. Usually at quarterback, it's not going to pop up, of course. Usually at quarterback they have Matthew Chadwick at quarterback. Usually he's the quarterback, but they switched up and they put Josh Career as a QB. So I think that was a big change for them. And to be honest with you, it's looking good. So keep going out there, Josh. It looks like you're doing a great job, and make a push for playoffs. They're a team that you guys have been struggling for a bit, and the fact that you guys are positive right now with 3-2-1, it's a good start for your season. Other than that, going into week 10, we have 5 games. My game of the week is going to be Only Flags versus Sophomore Excel Students, and Vengeance versus Owe Pamal. I want to see what Vengeance is all about. Owe Pamal is a pretty good team. They're having a good season as well. And I want to see what Keon is able to do right here versus a team like Only Flags. Only Flags right now just beat Tops and Tops, which is it was a big game for them. And to be honest with you, if a sophomore Excel can make it a bit challenging, I don't think they win that game. But if they could kind of stay in it, I feel like it would bring a bit of morale, a bit of confidence, saying, okay, maybe we lost this game, but we kept it close. So that's going to be an interesting game. And then again, I want to see what Vengeance is all about when they're playing Owe Pamal. Right now, Owe Pamal is 5-0. So again, you have 3-2-1 versus 5-0. So we're going to see if Owe Pamal is going to be able to keep their perfect record, or if Vengeance could have a little upset and show Josh is kind of could show himself as a number one quarterback in this division, and kind of say, oh, I'm pretty sure he was defender, but now I'm a quarterback and I'm doing a great job, and maybe he can make a huge upset for his team. That's going to be it for Division 6B. So I'm going to go Division 5C right now. So next game. So we're just going to go to the schedule. Wait till it pops up a bit here. Okay. So we got our schedule here. Looking back at week 9, we had a few games. Which is only 3. We had Shockers versus San Pressing. We had Baston versus Flag Dealers. And then we had Takeoff Squad versus Over Under Cheers. I want to say both our games of the week was Shockers versus San Pressing and Baston versus Flag Dealers. I believe those are the 2 picks that me and Brent take. Maybe I'm wrong, but again, I'll go through both three of these games. It's not that much. Takeoff Squad getting a huge win versus Over Underachievers. That puts Takeout Squad to 5-2-0. So they're having a great season. We're looking at the standings here. They're 5-2. They're at the 3rd seed. So that's a great win for them regarding that game. If we're looking at the team that they just played, we're looking at Over Underachievers. So I want to say they kind of have their name wrong and right, Over Underachievers, because right now they're not really achieving much. They're 0-5. So this looks like a team that I haven't seen before. I don't recognize any of their players and their names, so they're brand new. They're kind of getting a thing into this division. I just want to say, just keep going. It's not going to be as I talked to my friend Amer. Again, a lot of teams come into this division and they expect that they're going to do completely well. The fact that this is Division 6 as well too, you're like, okay, yeah, there's so many divisions. This is probably we're gonna be able to take control of teams and win all these games. But again, FPF is a hard league. There's a lot of good talent. There's a lot of good players that play in this league. So even though you're playing Division 6, there's 0-5, keep pushing. You guys are going to get Division 5C. Keep pushing. It's not the easiest league. It's not the easiest division, but you guys, it's a learning process, So try to stay together and try to keep building your momentum in each game. A lot of these teams have played for a while. A lot of these teams are used to each other, and you're only going to get better from here. So just keep going at it. Another 2 games that did happen during this week. The next one we're looking at is Baston versus Flag Dealers. Again, Baston winning that game 27-21. I'm not going to go into complete detail over here. And then we have Shockers versus San Pressing, where Shockers, it's very concerning because Shockers are a team, I want to say that they did so much better last season. Right now, they're 0-5. They're struggling with getting wins. I believe last season they did way better than this season, but it's a bit of a struggle. But again, it's 5C. I think last year, they were in Division tier 5, I want to say, or tier 4. So it's a bit of a jump for them. Their offense is not doing well at all. That's the thing that's the biggest issue. Week 1, they only scored 8. Week 2, they scored 6. They did play versus 2 of the top teams. And then Panthers, week 3, again, one of the top teams. And then they played Bastien, which is not, I don't think Bastien is one of the top teams. They're 3 and 4, so they're above average. And then they say played San Pressing where they kind of struggled. They only scored 12. You guys got to score more points. That's something you guys have to do. You guys have to score a minimum of 20 points if you want to start winning games or trying to make it challenging. You guys have a roster to do it. I don't know if you guys have to change the play calling, make it more difficult, go into trips, go into quads, go into double quarterback. Just do stuff that other teams are not used to seeing and try to get those touchdowns when needed. Because if you guys want to start winning games and make that last playoff push, you're definitely gonna have to score a minimum of 20 points per game. So that's my kind of my expertise for you guys to kind of start switching it up, because right now what you guys are doing is definitely not working. Going into week 10, we have 9 games. I want to say 3, 6, 9. We have 9 games. I'm gonna give you guys 2 game of the weeks. The first one's gonna be Royal Flush versus Pirtsubec, and the next one I'm gonna take is Old Pats versus Cavaliers de Rohan. So again, Royal Flush is one of the top teams. Pirtsubec also top teams. Old Pats, I think Old Pats is one of my dark horse team. I think they're gonna be a scary team when it comes to playoffs. And Cavaliers de Rohan is also a team that's been here for a while. They're having a great season, so it's going to be curious to see how they play against the Old Pats team. And that's all that we have for Division 5C. I'm going to jump into Division 5B. So looking at it for Division 5B right now, just kind of looking at the games that we did have. So last week we had 7 games. I want to say my game of the week. My paper is not there. Not exactly sure, but I want to say it was We Ain't Dead with the 90s versus PTSM. I'm not exactly sure, but again, I'm gonna go and talk about that game. We Ain't Done with the 90s won that game 28-12, so that's a big win for them. And then again, they also beat Catch a Flex 20-12, so that they actually played 2 games this week. So good for them on those both wins. Right now, they're in command. We Ain't Done with the 90s are in command, led by their quarterback Jamie O'Hayan. Oh no, Ojea. So Jamie Ojea, he's the quarterback over there with a bunch of his buddies. He's doing a great job at quarterback, showing that a receiver can play quarterback, even though he's playing in a different division. Quarterback, again, I think with the 4 guests I had tonight, everyone said quarterback is the hardest position. So it's not. It's even though you're playing Division 5, Division 4, Division 6, it's a hard position. Trust me. Right now, I'm playing quarterback in Division 5, and I struggle. So huge shout out to him for doing what he's doing. Right now, this team is 6-1, and they're winning games when they need it. Their defense is playing great. He's not scoring the most points, but their defense is making the stops, so he doesn't have to score 40 points, 35 points. He's able to score 20 and still get wins. So a little shout out to We Ain't Done with the 90s. They're doing a great job there. Bend Don't Break also as well as a team that's doing a great job. They actually won versus Emperor's Retreat was their last game that they did had. They won 46-31. So it's a big win for them, bringing themselves 6-0. And Emperor Retreat goes 4-1-1. So that's their first loss of the season compared to the tie they had. So Bend Don't Break is kind of showing the reason why they're 7-0, and they're making a name for themselves. Going into the rest of the schedule for the games that we had. So those are the kind of 3 games I kind of just talked about. We're kind of going to go back into week 10 and kind of look to see we have Chattahoochee Community College back in action and Demons. So Chattahoochee Community College and Demons is 2 teams that I'm kind of high on right now. Chattahoochee Community College had a horrible season last season. They went 0 and I think maybe 1-9 or 2-8. They didn't win a lot of games. Me and Brent were laughing about, is there actually a community college in Chattahoochee? But I don't think there is. I'm curious how they got that name. But they're having a great season this year. way better than the season before that. If you tell me that this team is 5-1 this year, I would not believe it at all. I'd be very confused. But they're doing a great job. They end up their last game they had is against Puff Puff Pass, where they won 39-18. So they had a little break, about 2 weeks. So now they're gonna play a PI Central team that right now is 4-2-1. So we're gonna have two good teams that are that have a positive record. So it's gonna be interesting to see how this game goes. I'm gonna put my money on Chetty Community College, but again, I won't be surprised if PI Central takes the win here. And then another game I want to kind of talk about is the Demons playing Green Monster Family. Again, Demons is the one team that's undefeated. But don't get me wrong, Green Monster Family is a veteran team. You have a lot of guys that have been playing in this league for a while. So again, Demons, don't take it as okay. Well, this team is 2-4. They're struggling. They're a veteran team. They've been in the league for a while. You have Patrick Jason, that's been in this league for I don't know how long. I played a bit with him, and then you have Daryl Kivas Riley as well. That's also been in the a league for a while. So they definitely know what they're doing. A bit of older guys, but they know certain play systems. They know how it goes. And the fact that if Demons slow down a bit here, it could be an upset. So I think that's going to be an interesting game to see. Again, so that's going to be week 10. Regarding the standings, to kind of just go with that, we have we have 22 teams in this division, and only 14 teams make it. So again, a lot of these teams have only played about 5. Some teams have played 8 games, but playoffs is still open for everybody. Even seven right now. 7 is 0-5, but again, you guys have 5 games left. You guys start winning games. You guys could finish your season maybe 4-6, 3-7. You still have a chance of making playoffs. Right now, you have 14, 13, 12, 11. They only have 3 games win. And the teams that are ahead, you guys, some have 1, some have 2. And you guys have the least amount of games played, you and McGill's swim team. So a lot of games left, a lot of time to make a playoff push. So just keep going at it. I know it can be struggling. You guys only scored 59 points. You guys are only averaging literally 12 points per game. But again, switch things up, drop in their quarterback, get a running back in there, start making some run plays. Just try to do stuff to try to work. It's only 10 yards for a first down. So you need 3 yards every 2.5 yards every single play to get a first down. If you go fourth and you're missing 2.5, all you need is 2.5. Very easy thing to do. You just need a good play calling and stuff that is easy to do. If you run the first play, you get 3 yards, make a 2-yard pass, run for 3 yards, make a 2-yard pass. Don't do things too complicated. Make it nice and easy, and you'll see a big difference in your game. One last team I want to talk about, Jamaican bobsled team. You guys are struggling as well compared to last season, where you guys are probably one of the top teams. You guys end up blowing it up. You guys end up screwing up playoffs. Didn't go the way you guys went. Right now, you guys are 1-6. So you guys have to step it up. A lot of season left. You guys have 3 games left. A lot of manageable games. You guys play deep zone penetrators, McGill swim team, South Shore crash outs. So you guys play games that are winnable. You have deep zone penetrators are 3-3. Not the best team, not the worst team. You have McGill swim team that are 2-3, and then you have South Shore crash out that are 1-5. So these are 3 games you guys could win. Same thing with you guys. You guys have 131 points scored, 217 against. You guys got to score more points. Switch it up. Drop in your quarterback. Get some run plays going. Start doing things that teams are not going to look at. Defenses have a lot of time to adjust, especially in higher divisions where it's hard for them to adjust, and you guys could sneak and get easy touchdowns. So that's just my little hint to let you guys know, and to show you guys like things can be done. Don't give up now and break the pattern. There's something that's not working right now, so try to fix it. That's going to be it for Division 5B. I already talked about Division 5A, so we're going to go straight to Division 4B right now. Ugh. So Division 4B, looking at the schedule, it's the first thing I wanted to. Looking at the schedule right now, so going back to week 9, we had we had 7 games. So my game of the week, which I remember saying because I've been talking about it's Super Saiyans versus Bandits. So these are two teams, more on the Super Saiyans thing, because I find it very I find it hard to believe that they're struggling the way they are, but they got a tie. It's not a win, but it's a tie. It's not a loss, you know. So I kind of watch this team play. I felt like you guys should have won that game. It came down to overtime. No one scored. You take the tie. You live to see tomorrow, and it's better than losing. And then I'm pretty sure Brent had Gabba Leaf versus Peacemakers, where Peacemakers right now are on a tier. They beat Gabba Leaf 37-12, and then they beat No Point in 10 and 42 to 37. So they're having a good year. I want to say the quarterback is Jason Rossi. I want to say that's his name. Sorry, guys, I'm very bad at her last name, but I'm pretty sure it's Jason. Gonna wait for it pops up and actually just show the whole roster. So quarterback. Oh no, he's not on. Yeah, JC Rossi. Yeah, okay, yeah. So JC Rossi's part of he's this team. I want to say he plays quarterback. I'm pretty sure he plays quarterback. He's a great quarterback, a guy that's been in the league for a while. Right now, the stats are pretty good. 36 touchdowns, 6 INTs, so not too much. 1,400 passing yards, 69% completion rate. He has veterans. He has a deep veteran roster with him too. As you have James Acker, Justin Way, you have Kenton Loyi. So for guys that don't know him, used to play for the Predators back in the day. That's when I first started playing for Division 3. So shout out to him that he's still competing in a still higher division. You know, Division 4 is pretty high to be playing in. And then you have Chris Brockwell. That's an amazing snap. You have Justin Anna. Maybe I'm pronouncing your name wrong. I'm sorry right there. But you have Yasser Yaver Ashrivar as well too. So you have a lot of veteran guys. You have a lot of guys playing in this league for a while. They're smart. A lot of defensive heads too, you know. So I can see this team. The reason why they're doing so well, a very well experienced team. They know what they're doing, and they're showing the reason. They're showing it right now. They're showing they're winning. They're winning high scoring games. They're winning low scoring games. They're blowing teams out when they have to. They're kind of showing their experience. I think it's a lot of experience when it comes to flag, especially in Division 4, Division 3, where if you have better experience than a lot of these other teams, where a lot of Division 4 teams could be a lot of raw talent. So if you could beat raw talent out and kind of use experience, but if you use your experience and try to mask the raw talent, there's a lot of times that you're going to beat those raw talent teams. So this is literally a prime example of what they're doing. Then you have no flags given right now. They're also doing a great job, where you have Tyler Stewart at quarterback over here. Tyler Stewart's having a great year. He's becoming one known quarterback. You know, he's kind of getting to the quarterback thing. He used to play receiver. He has his best friend Kyle Daniel that I'm pretty sure they're good buddies. So that's his top receiver as well. You have Shamar Rickard. That's a great defender. He's making a good job. And I believe they also have CJ Jamal Belfit as well. He's a great rusher. I'm sure he's putting a lot of pressure on a lot of teams as well. So they have a good roster going around their team. You have Paul Jr. Barrow as well. He played sub. He subbed one game. That's a big body, so I'm pretty sure he helped them in general. But yeah, so they're doing a great job with this team. They're 5-0. Going down to the rest of their schedule, though, it's going to be kind of interesting to see. They play Cast at 12, so that's a good matchup there. One goal, it's okay. Studs, really good matchup. Peacemakers, very good matchup. And Dirty Dogs. So their schedule does not get any easier, but again, they're playing to their level. They're scoring a lot of points. They're averaging about 35 points a game. I want to say close to that, 30 around higher in the 30 range. So they're doing a great job. Tyler's doing a great job scoring, and if he just has to keep doing that. Schedule does not get any easier, but he's in it right now. He's doing a good job. Looking at the rest of the schedule, so I kind of talked about some of the games that I wanted to talk about. Going to week 10, Again, Casa 12 versus No Flags Given. That's going to be a good game. That would be probably one of my best matchups here. And then Studs versus Bandits. Bandits is a good team. I kind of watched them. I got to watch them play when I was scorekeeping. Peckers versus Super Saiyans. Hopefully Super Saiyans get a win here. I want to see them make a playoff push. That roster is too good not to make playoffs. And then you have Peacemakers versus Casa 12. I think that's going to be a really good matchup as well, as Peacemakers are trying to dominate the rest of their games and finish their season and then in the number 1 seed. Going down to Division 4A. So we're looking at Division 4A right now. So we're just going to go through the standings for Division 4A. No, right. We'll do the schedule. We're going to go through the schedule for Division 4A. We had a lot of games. Division 4A. Unfortunately, Mofos and Trap Stars. I think that was my game of the week. Trap Stars forfeited that game, so I don't think it was even played. So Mofos get a little win there. Snowden and Delhi G-Gens lose to Penetrators, so that's a big win for them. None and Run. I think that was Brent's game of the week, where against Rick and Marty, where None and Run takes that win. And then they lose another one versus Nighthawks. They lose 2 games in literally 2 days. So that's unfortunate when you lose like that. And then Trap Stars. I think actually Trap Stars versus Ambush was my game of the week. But Trap Stars come back. They win that game 27-24. So it's good for them. They kind of get back stabilized, saying that we lost the game, but it was more of a forfeit. And then we have a tie versus Back to the Future versus Are You Not Entertained? Then you have Ambush kind of picking on Nighthawks, win that game 41-19. Looking at the standings to kind of show you guys kind of see what's going on. Nighthawks is kind of the team that's struggling a bit, and they're 2-4. Trap Stars stay at number 1, even though even they're losing the game of the forfeit. Unfortunately, they're not going to have a perfect season. I think they probably would have beat the Mofos, but we'll never know now. Looking at the playoff standings, 4 teams don't make it. So right now, Bible Studies, Rick and Marty, Back to the Future, the teams are kind of looking out. Nighthawks need to start winning games, as well as the Last Chance U, Ballhawks, Team Ethic as well. But Bible Study, Rick and Marty, Back to the Future, you guys are on the bubble, so you guys are definitely going to have to start winning games if you guys want to make that playoff. Looking at the schedule for Week 10, we have Nighthawks versus Ducks. So again, Nighthawks, big game for you guys. Trap Stars versus Nine and Run. Trap Stars kind of just basically proving to say, let's keep winning, let's keep going through this. Team of Thick, big game for you guys versus the Penetrators. Nighthawks again versus Nine and Run. Nighthawks, you guys have 2 games this week. It's going to be big games. You may not know it, but you guys are soon coming to playoffs, to the point where games for you are playoffs. It's not a regular season game, because you're going to be fighting with all those teams trying to bump you out of playoff contender. You have Ambush versus Rick and Marty. I think that's going to be a good game. Ambush is coming off of a loss, and then they came off with a win. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do here. Mofos played 2 games. Unfortunately, Mofos didn't have to play a game last week. They got a forfeit, but they get to play 2 games in basically 2 days, 3 days about. They play on March 9th and then March 11th. So they play Back to the Future and a Team at Ethics. So they have 2 pretty good games. And then you have Bible Study versus Back to the Future, which, you know what, to a point, we're looking at Week 10. This might be close to a playoff game, because both of these teams might be close to each other, and a tiebreaker might be a solution of reason why one team made playoffs and one team did not make playoffs. So again, a lot of action to be played in these divisions, and it's to a point where we're Week 10. A lot of games are going to start mattering, and it's going to be a point where you're going to have to start winning a lot of games, or it's going to haunt you to lose a game and realize the reason why you didn't make that playoffs is because you lost that game. So just to kind of start locking in, we're past midway through the season. Most teams are missing 5 games left. Some teams 4, some teams 3. So we're coming down to the end of it. The last team that we're going to talk about is Division 3. Division 3. So I talked about Division. Wait. Yeah, so I talked about Division. Yeah, so we're talking about Division 3 now. So going to Division 3. Division 3 is a big division. Looking at the standings, I always told everybody Division 3. I think if you win a Division 3 championship, like it's caliber to almost Division Two. A lot of players from Division Two play Division Three, also Division One play Division Three. I think it's probably one of the hardest divisions to win. This year, there's 24 teams. Usually, you have about around 24 teams. So, winning a Division Three championship is, I feel like, it's pretty much one of the hardest things to do in FPF. Looking at the schedule that we just had for Week 9, just gonna wait till it opens up. Yeah, sorry, that's standing schedule. So Week 9, we had a few games. For Week 9, we had a few games. We had like 20 games. Sorry, 3, 6, 9. So we have 15 games, and we have 4 games tonight. So kind of just going for the game of the weeks. When Diesel versus BB Bear Belly Brigade, that was my game of the week. When Diesel wins that game 32-18, kind of stabilized himself to being one of the top teams. BBB kind of struggles, they lose that game. Terror Squad wasn't a thing. I'm not sure Brent's game of the week, but I'm also going to talk about Eastway versus All Blacks. Eastway gets a big win there, winning 18-12. So that puts them at the number 1 seed right now at 5-2. So good job for them. We didn't really talk to them about them that much. And then Ballhawks beats Bear Belly Brigade 43-32. So that's a huge win for Ballhawks as well. To kind of put them a bit higher in the division. Right now, Ballhawks sit at 2-3-1. So if they lost that game, they would have been at 1-3-1. So that's a big game for them. That's a big upset for them. BBB has dropped the last 2 games, so they were 4-1. Now they were 4-1. Now they're 4-3. So now they're middle. Now they're the middle of the pack. You have Eastway climbing up at 5-2. When Diesel again still at 5-2, they dropped a couple. Speed Academy, only team that's undefeated right now with a tie. So they're 4-1. So again, it's gonna be interesting to see how they do with their last 5 games coming up. They end up playing their next game is the Reet, Eastway, Himothy's, Bet the Under, and Bear Belly Brigade. So again, they're playing some pretty tough teams. It's gonna be interesting to see how they're gonna do for the rest of the season. So we actually have a Brent's joining us right now. Yeah, I think this is our last division to talk about. So I'm just gonna wait till he joins to see if he has anything for Division 3. I'll start talk about some playoff concepts. Um, 3, 6. There's 8 teams that don't make playoffs. So again, looking at the playoff breakdown. Hey Brent,
Hey, what's going on? What's going on?
good yourself?
I'm good. I literally just got home like 5 minutes ago, out of town for the weekend. Well,
So
thanks last couple of days. I
yeah,
appreciate you for holding it down. Thank you. Thanks to you.
no
Thanks to
problem.
Omar.
So we actually are on the last division because I kind of went up and down. So last division, I kind of talked about most of the things, but if you kind of maybe you have some things to say about Division 3, that's the last division that we have, and then pretty much everything else is done. So we're at
All right, all
Division
right.
3. I kind of talked about some of the upsets. Ballhawks ended up beating When Diesel. So I'll say, Ballhawks beat Beer Belly Brigade. So again, they dropped the last 2 games, so they're
Yeah,
now
yeah,
in the
yeah.
middle of the pack, 4-3. But that's pretty much it. I just talked about that and the fact that Eastway is now the number 1 seed. And I was gonna just get into playoffs, but before getting to playoffs, maybe if you had, I'm not sure who your game of the week was. There was 20 games for
Yeah,
week
it's a lot of
9
games.
in this division. So maybe if you want to say something about one of these teams, something that kind of looked out to you, if you're, I'm not sure. I forgot your game of the week. I'm not sure which one it was, but I'm pretty sure I did not. I think it was All Blacks versus Eastway. I could be wrong.
I can tell you, yeah, you know what? You're right. You're absolutely right. It was all Blacks against Eastway. Because I
Yeah.
remember looking at them last week, right? And like it was a battle of 4. Eastway was 1, right? So like it's a battle of like 4 versus 1. So that was my pick for game of the week last week.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what I figured. That's why I went into, and I said, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure it was one of those." But yeah, Eastway ended up winning that game, and then
18-12, yeah.
so it's a big win for them. And then All Blacks also played the day later, and they end up beating
Banditos, 12, yeah,
yeah
13-12.
13-12. So again, but so many games are playing this week. I actually didn't talk about week 10 though. I also didn't go into week 10, so we kind of go to week 10 and see what's game of the week there, and then I don't know if you have anything else to say.
I mean, I know you already talked about it, right? Ball Hawks, like I said, beating Beer Belly Brigade. Like you said, 2 in a row, right? They beat Team Sexy. They're off. They have a bye pretty much, I think, for a week. So they're back on the 16th of March in Steady Bear against the Hustlers. So I'll be interested to see what happens. Can Ball Hawk make it 3 games in a row? Obviously, having the bye kind of at the worst possible time, which happens in football, especially. But see if they can kind of pick up where they left off. Looking here, I mean, like you talked about, right? There's still a couple games left. Pardon me. Sorry, I'm looking at the wrong screen here. Yeah, so at least like with this division, right? I know tonight, like you said, I think that I don't know if you mentioned it before, right? Tonight, Killer Rays, Timothy's,
I
Big
didn't
Fat
mention
Bats,
it.
Bengals. Okay. So yeah, so 4 games left for tonight. I want to see that Renard Viff game against Win Diesel. So I know last time, I think last week I was talking about Renard Viff, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because I score kept their game not this Monday, but the Monday before, where they got beat down by Bet the Under, right? So now this is for Renard Viff. This is their first game, I believe. Sens getting beat down 55-32 by Bet the Under Monday the 23rd, right? So can they rebound against a really strong Win Diesel team, right? Renard Viff, they have the athletes to roll with Vin Diesel, right? They're deep. Both teams are deep, really. But Renard Viff are a little bit deeper, and they have, again, a lot of current and former university guys. Can they keep up score to score though? When Diesel now like 5-2, right? So if you're Renard Viffs right now, they are in 11th, right? But they're tied for a bunch of teams. They're technically tied for 6th with like a bunch of other teams all with 8 points, right? So if you can knock off Win Diesel, that'll put them tied points wise of Win Diesel. So if you're Le Renard Viffs, you can jump all the way from 11th to have sole possession of second place because Win Diesel right now sits at second with 10 points.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very interesting.
What matchup are you looking at?
For next week, I didn't really look. I don't know. I like don't mess with Texas versus Himothy's. I kind of watched those don't mess with Texas a bit after my game. They look like a good team. Himothy's just played against Terror Squad, or Terror Squad won that game, but it was still a high scoring game. And again, Lipizzicat versus Team Sexy. I think that's also going to be an interesting game.
I know last time we talked, you were asking me to check out Caroline. So last Wednesday, the score kept in Laval. So basically, it was Guillaume Belanger's team. He's been in the league for a long time, snapper / quarterback. Their offense, I saw them the last game. Sorry, I'm gonna tell you, I wasn't scorekeeping their game, but I was on the next field. Yeah, it was last Wednesday against Eastway. So that every time I looked up, there was scores happening. So Eastway with the 47-34 win over Caroline. But Caroline, like they're a decent team, man. Like I like a lot of the pieces on that squad. I believe both Bululo brothers are on that team. Let me just double check here. I know I saw Emile. Yeah, so Emile Bulolo, one of the underrated players, Vincent's brother. He's on the team. Charles Bolshman is a guy we talked about. I talked about it a lot last season, I should say. Pardon me. Another impact player on the squad. Like I like Caroline. Do I think they're gonna win a championship? I don't know yet, but I definitely think they can get into the playoffs and definitely make some noise because that offense is pretty on point.
Oh. You know what I just realized? I did not talk about Co-Ed 2.
Oh, okay. So I'm glad. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm super glad you brought that. This is pretty okay. So
I don't think I did. I'm not sure. I think I did.
Okay. So let me ask you because again, I missed almost the whole episode. So you guys did like Co-Ed and the ladies first?
I did talk about Co-Ed 2. I did. Sorry. I did.
Okay.
I actually I got Lori to talk about. That's why I don't remember. I got Lori to talk.
Okay,
Lori
cool.
came
on. Okay. Did you did you talk to anybody for women's too?
Emma. Hear me? Emma.
Okay, I'm okay. Good. Emma came. Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm just asking because I was scorekeeping last Saturday in Bristol, and I was told, hey, listen, you don't talk about women's too that much, or when you guys do, you guys talk about pretty much just chaos. But there's some ladies who were balling out, and I just wanted to let them know that I saw what was happening. I came away impressed. So I'm not trying to hijack anything here. I just want to mention quickly. So again, I missed most of the episode, so my apologies on that. I wanted to give a quick shout out. Just waiting for the schedule to come up here. So the games that score kept. Okay, so 28th. Yeah, the games that score kept last week was what was that these guys? Yeah. What was I? Sorry. Look at the schedule here in the Broussard. Yeah, sorry, it was Nomads against Valhalla. I think that's the game I did. No, I'm totally wrong. Sorry, my bad. Sorry, Old School and Turf Titans. My apologies. Old School and Turf Titans. Just want to give a quick shout out because buddy of mine is coaching with Turf Titans, and he goes, "Yeah, man, you guys talk about women's too, but you guys only talk about pretty much one team." I just want to say quickly, the quarterback for Old School. So Jessica Banville, she had a great game. She was balling out. Marielle Parody. This is it. I wrote something down and I put it on the back of my tablet. Marielle Parody for Old School. I had never seen him play before. We talk about a lot of names on the podcast, and like I tell some players who complain to me about not talking about their team. There's a zillion teams, as you know, Quaysie, that we have to talk about. There's a zillion divisions, but people in general that really caught my attention. Mario Parody. It was Sanders actually who called me out as well. So Mario Parody. She's a baller for Old School. Like she's tall, she's fast, she's making plays on both sides of the ball. So I just want to give her a quick shout out. Going to Turf Titans, so Brianna obviously decided to go Brianna to Terracone. I think that's how she told me to pronounce her last name. She was balling out. I just came away really impressed with some of the ladies that were playing. Sarah Maud Hamel, the quarterback for Turf Titans. I love her delivery. She has this really cool wind up when she throws and the ball comes out around really fast, and she was throwing some pretty tight balls. I just want to give a shout out to some of the ladies from Old School and Turf Titans. Yes, I know there's certain teams we do talk about more than often for women's too, but I want to give those ladies for Turf Titans and Old School a shout out because I came away watching their game. It was a 24-7 win by Old School, but I came away really impressed with what I saw.
Sorry, the girl you said, Marielle Paradis.
Yeah, Marielle Parody. Yeah,
she actually used to play for Wolfpack.
That's right. No, okay. Thank you for saying that. The whole game I was watching is like I've seen her play before, but I couldn't think of where. Okay, yeah,
She
all
played
right.
for Wolfpack for like 3 or 4 seasons, so it's kind of
Yeah. Okay.
even
Okay.
last season she played for Wolfpack, so it's kind of it's weird that she's not playing with them for this year. Again, I know sometimes girls do switch teams around, but it's weird that the fact that she's not there. But I remember I was looking at Wolfpack's roster, and I didn't see her, but I saw her on the Old School roster, and I was like, oh, it's interesting that she kind of switched teams. But
hold on, there's another girl on the team too. I saw. Look, no, maybe this is not the same. Okay, no, so it's not the same person. I thought there was someone else on the team who might have played Wolfpack as well, but no, it's not her. Anyways,
Brent, since you're here, and we're probably gonna make this maybe as a reel, because I've been ask all the guests. So let's pretend you're a guest today. It's nice and easy. Everyone kind of knows who you are. So we're not gonna go into when did you start playing flag, all this. I basically asked every single guest a question, and the question was, so in flag, there's 5 positions in the flag. There's on offense you have receiver, snapper, quarterback, and on defense you have corner and rusher, because corner halfback is pretty much the same thing. If you're gonna rank these 5 positions, 1 being the best, like the most difficult, and 5 being the less difficult, how would you rank them?
I would put quarterback as the most difficult. I mean, I think quarterback's a harder position in sports, period.
It's number 1.
I mean, I think starters are number 1. Number 2, I'm going to say defensive back.
Okay.
Because not knowing the routes, receivers know the routes. Whether they run them properly or not, that's another thing. But you don't know the routes ideally that a team is running unless you're really good at watching towels. But it is what it is. I want to say receiver is the 3rd hardest. because again, you could run routes, but if you don't run them well or you can't catch that great, then you're not really helping all that much. Plus, even if you are running good routes, if you have a DB in front of you that can really cover, like if you're covering somebody, they have to run really good routes, right? So you're going to swallow them up. I want to say rusher and snapper. So if you don't have a good rusher, your defense isn't going to be able to do anything. But if you don't have a good snapper, you see it all the time, right? Balls to go over the quarterback's head or bounces off the floor a bunch of times. That throws off the whole rhythm of the offense. I'm assuming you have a good rusher. Sorry, I'm assuming you have a good snapper or even an average snapper and an average rusher. I'm not saying like those aren't hard positions because they are, but I'm going to say I think rusher's harder than snapper because you play different quarterbacks. You could have quarterbacks that throw the ball really quickly, and the only thing you can do is try to get a hand up to bat down the pass or get them to throw the ball quicker. You're not going to sack them. Or you have those quarterbacks who can run all day, like Marc-Andre Reeves, Alex Zaleski, the list goes on, right? Jordan Mitchell, who you really have to take down and make sure you get that angle. And then rushing. I mean, if you're able to snap the ball, we've seen any teams make the mistake of having anybody snap. That's actually ridiculous. You should be a good snapper, or at least above average if you're snapping.
Yeah.
So I think rusher is the easiest position.
Okay. Oh, so you want quarterback,
Quarterback, corner, receiver, rusher, and snapper.
Okay. So receiver. Okay. All right.
So, yeah, QB, DB, wide receiver, rusher, snapper.
Okay. So would you rather a bad snapper or a bad receiver?
Bad receiver.
Okay.
I'd rather have a bad receiver because bad receivers can still catch a ball here or there, right? Like a bad rusher throws off your whole offense. If the snaps are too high or too low, that throws off your whole timing. It gives the rusher a huge advantage on your quarterback.
Okay, so you're putting receiver at number 5 then.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, you know what? You're right. You're right. Yeah, my bad. You're right. You're right. Okay. Let me say this again. Okay, QB, DB, rusher, snapper, receiver. You're right.
Okay, perfect. There you go. I was wondering. I was thinking. I was like, okay, wait, something doesn't make sense here. But no, okay, that's way better. No, you're good. You're good. All right, that's pretty much all.
What's your order here?
I'm putting quarterback, quarterback, defender, snapper, and rusher. I feel like it's about the same thing. I feel like you need a good snapper, you need a good rusher. I feel like they're both high position player positions. And then receiver, like I feel like receiver, anyone can play receiver, run down the field, let me chuck it, you can still catch a ball, make a touchdown, like I don't think it's the biggest, craziest thing compared to if you have a bad rusher, if he's not able to contain the quarterback or get any sacks, it's to a point where their offense will do whatever they want. And if you have a bad snapper, it just messes everything up.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's fair.
So I mean that's pretty much it for this podcast. Thanks for coming in at the end, Brent. Give you some shout out, giving some women some love. Because again, you are right. We talk about certain teams more than we talk about others. So that's something that we kind of have to change up a bit, get into some stats. But again, when it's coming down to the end of the season, we're gonna have the receiver of the year, defender of the year, rusher of the year, quarterback of the year. So that's where we kind of get more into we get to kind of go more into stats. People have to realize again, it's kind of sometimes it's easier to look at things that we know because we know those teams and we know those players compared to 100 other players where we kind of have to like literally look at their stats. But if we're doing that for every single team, it's going to be a lot of hours of doing that, especially with the 21 division that there is today. So we're going to try to be a bit better to kind of spread the love a bit. But when it comes down to receiver, when it comes down to rewards and stuff, that's where we kind of give a lot of our shout outs to all the players that first of all deserve it, and we kind of are able to kind of look at them a bit more.
Yeah, 100%. I couldn't agree more. And like we always say, right? Listen, if you want us to talk about you on the podcast, like, listen, like I said, when I gave a shout out to Church Titans in Old School, one of the coaches came up and talked to me, right? One of the guys, one of the boyfriends, one of the players on the team was like, "Hey, can you talk about our team a little? Talk about my girlfriend's team a little bit more?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? Like, come up and talk to us. Like, by now you should know he's Quaysie, I'm
Yeah.
Brent. Like, you should know us. Come up and say what's up. Well, if you want to be a guest, we always say if you want to be a guest on the podcast, come and be a guest. It's our pleasure to have you on."
Come on the podcast. Come on the podcast. Trust me, we're going to talk about your team.
100%. 100%. And for those other teams, like I know there's some teams that have like again, like we said, like hey, you talk about us a lot. There's a reason for that, right? Some of the things we do talk about a lot are some of the bigger teams and have some of the bigger names in FPF. But this league, I had a conversation. I've had tons of conversations about this. FPF grows because of the lower divisions. Division one, the women's one, Division A in the summer, Division B, women's two, men's A, men's two and B. Those divisions are gonna always kind of be there, right? And those teams are always gonna kind of be there. It's those lower division teams and the new teams, or the teams that are the first or second or third year that are coming in. You guys are the ones that help FPF grow, right? From where it started with Rob to where it is now with Jeff. Like it's a gigantic league, and we've been in business for over 20 years, right? So we need you guys to help with that, and you guys are by playing and coming on to the field. But like, come onto the pod and get people to know you, get people to know your team. If you guys have a certain brand or you guys are about something, come and let us. If we don't know you personally, come and holler at us, and we'll get you on here, and we'll know about you, and we'll talk more about you.
Yeah, no, 100%. Again, it's a big league, but we would love for more people to come on the podcast, or even talk to us, express yourself and stuff like that. We're cool guys. We like to hear feedback and stuff like that. So, 100%.
All right.
So I think that's about it. Yeah, we're good.
Right. I just want to give thanks to you, Omar, again, holding things down this week. I apologize. It's a long drive home. Exhausted. Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. I'm Quaysie. He's Brent. Thanks for tuning in today. Peace.
See you guys next time.